BayRadio International on a Wednesday, and very happy to welcome back our Alicante lawyers this afternoon. Ignacio is with us to talk about, well, first of all, what's happening in Spain, and we'll take a look at some other detail in a moment. How are you doing, Ignacio?
Very good. Nice to see you back here.
All good at the shop?
Yeah, very good.
Excellent.
Very
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
All good at the top level of Spanish government as far as legal things are concerned? Maybe not.
What do you mean?
Well, the latest story is that Pedro Sanchez is saying that a leak of his WhatsApp messages is a crime. The opposition, the PP, the Partido Popular, are calling for his resignation. Yet another issue for the Prime Minister to deal with, and none of it seems to stick.
Yeah, everything is possible with Pedro Sanchez, you see? Everything is possible. Now, how long is going to last, the whole thing? I really think I'm getting to think that we're almost there, because you cannot put up with so much, can you?
Well, it seems to be one legal challenge after another. His family, all sorts of different stuff.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, even within the party, I don't think they're very happy neither. Whether
His
they
own
can,
party.
Yeah, I don't know.
Remember, he's it's only a minority government, so he's only there by the support of smaller parties. But they do seem to continue to support him.
Yes, that's right. I mean, so far so good. But somebody in the radio the other day was saying, I don't know in English, is when you have these wooden puzzle or just figure
Like Jenga.
Probably, I don't know what you call it,
okay.
Right? And then you start pulling.
That's it.
Right? You start pulling and everything is possible. But there is one the latest
Right
one that I think when is going to be the last one, you know? Spaniards were very much laid back, you see? We put up with everything, you know?
I tell you what, though, the Spaniards I know are quite vociferous in their thoughts about Spanish politics at the moment.
Let's think
especially
wide.
One prime minister.
Yeah, but let's think wide. We don't go on streets to complain. We just complain to each other. We just put up with things. And that's the truth. You know, in France they will go on streets straight away.
More and bigger demonstrations. We have seen some in Spain recently, of course, not least last weekend. All right, but the thing is about this leaking of WhatsApp messages is that with his former minister José Luis Ábalos, the leaking of them is a crime, is it not?
Good question.
The Prime Minister claims that it is.
Well, whether it's a crime or not, the bottom line is whether it's true or it's not as well. So you've got two phases here. Because the funny thing is, there is so many cases. I don't know if the audience is following up and you are keeping them updated with that.
We do, but you're quite a big help to help us understand why and how, obviously, on the legal front.
Well, let me tell you one thing. On one side, we have the case, which is unique, but the whole thing that is happening is unique. We have the public prosecutor, the general public prosecutor being prosecuted.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. Yeah,
right. And we have the same game with the WhatsApp. And he deleted. He deleted, and there is no evidence. So I'm sure if you delete it, there is a lot of information you want to hide, for sure. I mean, you don't find the information.
Why would you delete it all?
Why would you delete it all? Well, obviously because you don't want to share information, as simple as that. But that's one case, and this is a battle between the Madrid party, Ayuso, and themselves, because for them, they want to have on one side that the partner of Ayuso try to find a deal, which is completely legal. I mean, you have a court case with the tax office. Tax office, is always after money, and the tax office wants to push it all the criminal way. Then you have two ways. One is just contest it and face it, and the lawyer of a state and the public prosecutor is saying you should go to jail for X amount, or you could settle. You could say, okay, I will not go to jail. I will pay this money that you say that I have to pay. I disagree, but I will pay. And then you will reach an agreement, right? Okay, what happened there? They filter, I don't know why, and I feel it that is quite serious, because a lawyer, well, first, I would have never put on an email something, even though it's a secret and professional secret, but you cannot trust anything, can you, nowadays? Well, what happened? The lawyer of this lady, of the partners, right, users partner, right, put on writing if they could settle. But settling doesn't mean, well, legally means agreeing on something to get a benefit. And then the public prosecutor was trying to negotiate. Now, that written conversation,
its own
which
case.
in lawyers, to be honest, Carl, this is the daily thing, because you just try to settle,
come to a deal.
Yeah, to a deal, and you always go for the best one for your client, which is fine. And there is nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying I'm guilty. I'm saying I'm going to just do this so I can minimize the damage that you could have in the future, because you don't have full control of the tribunal. Tribunal could say, oh, this is an offense. Xabi Alonso from Real Madrid. Yeah. All the football players had cases against tax office. Some of them settle. I think Cristiano Ronaldo did settle and accuse the lawyers. And Xabi Alonso said, no way, I'm going all the way through and I'm ready to face it. And he won. He was brave and he won. Right. Well, in this case, the users, then what happened was that there was a leak. Who's going to leak that, Carl? Either the public prosecutor or the lawyer. I don't think the lawyer will leak that. So there's only two people.
The prosecutor has been in court.
Of course.
So like you said, it's unprecedented for this, for the top legal man or woman in the country to be in the dock. It's, and it's dragging on and on.
And that was really because it's a politics battle between PP and PSOE. As simple as that. And Madrid is very strong PP, and it hurts them. And, to be honest, Carl, I don't think the Spanish people were left or right. People just want common sense sometimes, and it's not left or right. They're always saying the two parties, left or right. It's not left or right. It's what I think is sensible or what I don't think is sensible. You're right. Then this is a user's case. And then you have the actual case with Avalos, which was number 2 from the president in the government. And now this leak is only to know the type of people there are. It's not a crime. It could probably, from the messages, give a little bit more of hints.
Is this where they were talking about the rescue of Air Europa?
Yes, correct. Correct.
So that was the context. The context was about working out whether they could rescue it legally, I suppose, yeah?
And what I think here, Carl, is that this is very simple. As far as I could just listen to all the news, listen to all
the WhatsApp messages,
everything, and try to build up your own criteria, because nobody says the truth. Apart from that, everybody says their own
version of the
truth. And say, okay, this is like a trial. And I think, but obviously no evidence, is that the leak could go from Avalos, from Calder. I will doubt it is from the police. I will doubt it. I don't think so. Even though the PSOE are saying that it could go from the police. But, nobody is going to risk their own, work, their own job, just because they're professionals. So I really think it's a battle inside the PSOE.
Ultimately, it all comes down to a battle between the two main parties again, doesn't it?
Again.
And whether, it was legal or illegal for the WhatsApp messages to be leaked, it almost doesn't really matter, because all that's trying to happen here is that Pedro Sanchez is trying to stay in power, and the opposition, the Partido Popular, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, is trying to get him to call elections so that he can maybe come into power. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. And generally, I know that a lot of Spanish people are pretty much fed up with the infighting.
Yeah, we're all fed up with so much crap, as you could appreciate. And, and you don't need that. You don't need that. We need to get cracking, working hard.
Focus on the things that
Focus
matter.
on the things that people need and nothing else, And these people are getting paid, but, getting paid for what? That's the question.
Well, they're spending most of their time in court, by the way.
And at the end of the day, so the problem is, PSOE is criticising, is saying, is accepting a leak. Or probably there is opposite, Carl. In the case with a user, they say one version. In this case, they say they're going to start legal actions.
Mm-hmm.
So why you wouldn't be more neutral, consistent and neutral, and say, listen, if it's wrong, it's wrong. That's it. A user, with that, there is a leak. They start a case. A user started a case, and to be honest, it's a bit less important. For one thing, is the partner fine? The life of the partner is his deals, his business. If he needs to pay,
not perhaps important as top ministers.
It's not. No. He's a businessman, and two, we really don't care if he needs to pay, go into court and go to prison, or at the end of the day, he'll have to do whatever the court says, and that's it. But the leak is important because it was between a lawyer and a public prosecutor.
Right.
That's serious.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this case, it's a couple friends. So it was the president and the right-hand side. And they were just, it's nothing relevant to be a crime. It's just about the way they are.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, gives you an idea of how they went about their day-to-day business.
And I'll tell you a little bit more. There is sensible people within the PSOE, right? Paje, Laban from Aragon, from La Mancha, that they're very center people, very sensible people. And these people were criticizing the WhatsApp. Mm-hmm. So the bottom line is the one who didn't follow the instructions from the president is being criticized. And they have been in the radio yesterday and the day before telling how they are. So it's more about of a moral way rather than a legal way, you see?
And there were the ERC spokesperson, Gabriel Rufián, he said that there's a soft coup brewing. This is the way it looks. And much like you said at the outset, you think this could possibly be the final piece of Jenga or the final nail in the coffin, to use an Easter analogy.
I mean, we still have a lot of days to see each other, Carl, here.
Yeah.
We will see which one is the very latest one, what you call it, that piece. Yeah. Because I was telling Pedro, there is... not Sanchez.
Not Pedro Sanchez.
Heredia.
Yes,
right. Which one is going to be the last one?
Yeah.
Probably stupid. I mean...
Well, sometimes when these things happen, especially politically, it can be something quite minor.
Yeah.
But after all of these major cases, something comes along which is like, whoop, there you go. And it pulls the rug from under them. We've had the other things with the court case against his wife by Manos Limpias.
Yeah.
We've got the other one with his brother, David Sanchez. Now the public prosecutor is talking about 3 years in prison for the Prime Minister's brother for influence peddling, administrative malfeasance, and illegal appointment. They're all relatively minor things, are they not? It's just because he's the brother of the Prime Minister where this has now become a big sort of issue.
Well, I did watch the trial. I love watching trials.
Yeah.
And it is incredible, Carl. I mean, from a lawyer's point of view, when
the appointment, it should not really have happened, as we gather.
They did ask to the brother if he could describe the name of his job. And he wouldn't even know where is the office or what job title. In democracy, in this world, you cannot accept this. I mean...
Now that's sort of 80s type politics, isn't it?
And it's a bit sad to get these kind of people. They're getting paid from our taxes. We pay high taxes. We paid a lot of taxes. By the way, it's a tax season, and we're still paying. Mm-hmm. And then we get all these, and you say,
yeah. Jobs for the boys, I think, in Britain.
But probably it's an international thing, isn't it, Carl? You were mentioning.
It's not just in Spain that you see these sorts of things happening. So we've also heard about the statute, the reform of the statute of the Public Prosecutor's Office, which will come into effect on January the 1st, 2028, which presumably they will all agree on by that stage. What are they changing or going to try to change?
I didn't study what was the purpose of it. There is always a purpose on something. They're trying now. I think
it guarantee the independence of the Attorney General.
What I heard latest is that Europe wanted basically that you cannot have a public prosecutor within the timescale of a government.
You're right.
But I will go even further. I mean, why a public prosecutor needs to be dependent of a government?
No, I see what you mean.
You say, and now what they're trying to do is instead of 4 years, 5 years. So if Feijóo wins,
non-renewable 5 years.
So he needs to swallow with the public prosecutor. So probably they're trying to. I'm
separating government and the public prosecution, which are the things we've been talking about, might well be a good thing.
I don't know. It might be good or it might be bad because what is bad is not being independent.
Yeah.
But the public prosecutor is. But you know what?
But they don't. You just want to make sure that the government cannot instruct the public prosecutor how to act. That
they're doing it.
Independent.
They're doing
That's
it.
what they want.
But they're doing it at the moment.
Yeah, but they wanted to be independent, right? Him or her, whoever's holding the position.
I don't know if that's what they want. What they want to do is 5 years. So if this government disappears, the public prosecutor still stays.
Yes.
So are there
just appoint your own one when you want?
So I don't know if that's to protect any possible crime that is being committed. So it's being controlled by the public prosecutor.
FA seems to be saying that it's the idea is that the institution has more autonomy from the government. So
sure,
that's the idea.
I wish all public prosecutors choose their own boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the judges could choose as well their own. So in the public prosecutors board, there is two wings, right? You've got the left and the right. But in general, at the moment, against this public prosecutor, there is an association of public prosecutors going against him through the court. This is crazy, Carl.
Yeah.
This is crazy. You know, everybody's going against their own boss.
And like we said before, there's all of this going on, and really, you know, what should be remaining is the fact that the country should be being run by these people, not them defending their jobs or other people's jobs, and constantly the infighting, stopping the actual legal process. We all know how long it takes to get cases through court here.
Yeah.
Now, we did go through a period of elections on a regular basis, which doesn't really help anybody either, does it?
Yeah.
And why? Sorry, are the PSOE and the coalition doing so badly if the economy's doing so great? Ultimately, it's not down to the politics, is it?
I really think, to be honest, that it's not down to the politics. Why Spain? I think it's thanks to the world. Because why we're getting this is, and thanks to the Spanish people as well, I really think, and you could feel in
and
on the
what's
street,
buoyant? It's tourism for a start, isn't it?
Tourism. But then, did Pedro Sanchez make anything good here? Well, probably not really, because it's a hangover that we have from many, many years, and it's from many, many governments.
And post-pandemic, much more people want to travel.
Correct.
So,
after the 2021, the whole world changed. And now you could think, where would you like to live?
Indeed.
Quality of life,
so we're
cost
talking about
of money.
Not just holidays, we're talking about people moving their lock, stock and barrel to Spain, which of course we've talked about quite a bit. That happens a lot.
So will you call this a success from the politics? No, not really. I mean, I think it's a success of a society for many, many years to create, and probably a lot of politics throughout all the life, of Spain. It's not only to one. As if we have a credit crunch, is not only for one politics to be responsible on that one, you see. I think because, let's put it this example, United States, we're getting a lot of American clients. Now, is it thanks to Spain? Well, not really.
No.
It's a little bit thanks to Spain, because if the country is
attractive place to come to, yes.
Correct. If we're not doing things properly and we don't have things that people like, and if we don't do things properly, people will never come. That's obvious. But I really think that it's got an international aspect as well. So, and then you have the economy, macroeconomics, right? Are they doing well in a different country? Do they want to get out of that country? If they do, then as well, they could go to Italy, they could go to Portugal. But now Portugal, they changed the law, and a lot of Americans from Portugal are going to Spain. So it's hard to say from a tourism point of view.
So there's a little bit of politics in there, because they're making the rules that exist are conducive to people moving from, say, the United States, as you said. And of course, more Brits are still moving to Spain than any other nationality, and that's post-Brexit still. And that's still a statistic which comes out week after week, month after month. So Spain has done something right to attract people to the country to come and live and work here. Because, of course, as we've seen since the pandemic, a lot of people are now working for their companies back home, but living in Spain as digital nomads.
Yeah, actually, listen, we are expanding the relocation services, which covers people hunting for help from their home country, then talking about immigration, talking about tax planning, talking about buying a property in Spain, etc., etc.
The right visa for you.
Correct. And that's because they're retiring. As you know,
we always had retirees, certainly people coming to Spain to at the end of their careers. But now you've got a lot more people who are coming whilst also working.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, you're getting people. I mean, the cost of living, Carl, again.
Compared to some countries, it's certainly a lot better.
So
Probably
that helps.
A bit more expensive than it used to be in Spain,
yeah,
but still much better in a lot of countries, especially the United States.
Yeah, I still find Spain very expensive from the old days, as you will appreciate.
I can see that, yeah, having spent a lot of time in Spain, and I lived in Gibraltar for 3 years in the 90s as well. And
you could appreciate the difference.
But
they do spend more money.
It's still better for some people, like say, coming from America. Property prices, big difference.
Actually today I was with clients. I went to sign wills, a very nice couple expats, and they were telling me, Ignacio, lodging the income tax return. I mean, some expats, American expats, they even pay $1,000 to lodge your income tax return
in the States.
In the States. And today I was talking to another one, and because of complexity, because you need to find one that files in the United States and you're in Germany, etc., then they were even talking about more than that. So if you compare everything, at the end of the day, I mean,
Spain still comes down. If you add up all the different things, it is.
I mean, I will tell you my reflection to it, Cole, is the following. Income tax return is more expensive in Spain than United States. I agree. In some cases, not all of them, but if you earn money, yes, I agree. But what about property tax? Property tax is huge in United States. Yeah. So the bottom line is that they pay more taxes over there, right? And they still, when they come here, they still say, well, in the long run...
More bang for your buck, I think is the phrase.
Yeah. Better quality...
of life, better weather for a lot of
food,
a lot of areas.
Everything. And sometimes...
And very low crime rate compared to the United States, certainly, Something else, and the healthcare. All of these things are the things that we keep hearing American people mentioning when they talk about why they've come to Spain.
So now I ask you the question, why people are still coming?
Well, a number of those, a lot of those all in a handful that we.
But I don't really think it's the politics, the one who deserve now the success of the latest.
They're
I will
not
say
the ones that are responsible.
I think it's a society. I think it's a society in general. You see, and but yes, I really think we should concentrate, all of us, on doing things better, worrying about people, and carry on being hard workers and stop legal cases, even though affect us. But between the politics, there are still
It's almost a sideline, isn't it, I suppose, with everything we've been talking about. Now, we were talking then about lots of people making the decision to up sticks from where they are, whether that be the UK, whether that be the United States or anywhere else in Europe, to move to Spain for the number of different things, the climate, cost of living, which may be better than where they are, the healthcare, the property prices, better taxes, all sorts of different reasons. And I guess from a third country, it's a little bit more difficult than it is moving from within the EU.
Actually, the relocation thing is a very important thing, Carl, for people to do. I encourage people to do it before they commit themselves doing. I encourage people, if they're going back to a different country, as some people are, to do exactly the same.
Yes, because you've also got people who are leaving Spain and going back either to their own country or to another.
Correct. And they need to deregister and do things properly, etc., etc. So I encourage people to do things properly, because nowadays the days are different. In the old days...
It's in this digital age, it's very easy, difficult to hide and easy for the taxman to find you, isn't it?
That's correct. So I really encourage people to do things properly, and I love our job when we help people and we make them save money in a legal way, you know, and they just come for opinion. They say, how would I do that? We do the simulation, the wealth tax simulation, the income tax simulation. How about this? How about that? What about if I do this? And you discuss with the client all the alternatives before they even commit themselves to do something.
And let's face it, taxes in your own country are difficult enough.
Yeah.
In your own language, when you're in another country, it's
even worse.
Difficult, yeah.
So yes. And I love that side of helping them before they even have an issue, you know, and that's the beauty of it. Some people come when they have a problem, and unfortunately it's not that pleasant because sometimes you cannot help as much as you would have helped if they met you the first day. You know, so the relocation thing, or relocating to Spain or abroad, it is quite important. I'm finding alternatives, Carl, because a lot of people don't know the answers, which I understand. And that's what we are here for, to help them saying, okay, this is the scenario. This is how you could do it. You've got option number 1, 2, and 3, and then you do whatever you need to do.
We talked like there are different visas available for depending on your status, what you want to come to Spain to do, and we know the golden visa is gone now, finally, but there are a number of others: non-lucrative, the digital nomad, self-employed work permit type visa,
student visa. You know, so there is a lot of opportunity, and I encourage people to say, okay, let's do a video conference. They send us an email. They tell us what their problems are, and I create a group of work and say, sometimes the beauty of it, Cole, is we talk about the immigration issue. Then you talk about the tax planning issue. And then you talk about either renting or buying as well, because it's the three pretty much linked together. When you're going to move, you're going to have all your documents ready and legal. Then you have to have your tax affairs ready to avoid mistakes and avoid to spend money on stupid things.
Or it costing you more.
More. And 3, you need to know whether you're going to rent and shop around or even buy because you fall in love with a property. Then obviously you need to do inheritance tax planning, and you need to do the wills, but that comes after. You know, I'm not that concerned to start with. I mean, we could deal with
building up that case for because we're not all the same, are we? So not everybody has the same package because they have different requirements, and different situations,
different nationality. Call, for example, today I dealt with an Irish and an American and British. So Irish and British, American and British. Trying to give them residence in France.
Of course, Ireland is part of the EU.
Correct. It makes, from an immigration point of view, it makes life easier, you know, and a lot of people, I'm sure, and you know that this has happened, Ireland has a lot of more passport than ever because of that.
Yeah.
You know, because of relatives. And that helps on an immigration, and then helps people because they could work. You know, the problem with a non-lucrative visa, you're not entitled to work until you went 5 years, and then you're permanent. And when you're permanent, you could have it. So the immigration is key because you need to access to Spain. Then you have the tax planning in the meanwhile, because you need to know when you're going to arrive, whether it's worth it coming after, let's put it the 1st of July, after 183 days. So when do I need, and I make a move, you know, to pay less taxes and buy time. And then you have the opportunity about buying a property in a safe way. That's the very latest one, you know. And
you have a fleet of property lawyers to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud that we build a business this way to cover pretty much, I would say, all the legal needs that are an expat or even Spanish or South American trying to relocate into Spain. We'll cover all the departments. And we feel quite comfortable. It's very little spaces where I would say go somewhere else because we cannot help you.
Well, you also cater for businesses and companies, so you know it's like a one-stop shop. Effectively.
Pretty much is a
everything in-house.
Yeah, pretty much. If you probably go to big law firms, sometimes they do only a company law, tax law, but not for individuals. We do a lot of work for individuals, owners of a business as well. And even assisting them to set up a company if necessary. We're not focused only on concentrating on business as such and setting up a big, because then you need a lot of people in the office for a big firm, a big company, you need a lot of accountants, so I try to concentrate on private individuals and companies as well, but trying to give the best legal, tax and immigration advice possible. And so far, so good, Cole.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, you've talked about a number of clients today, all different nationalities from all different parts of the world coming into Spain, and actually some of those leaving as well. AlicanteLawyers.es for the website, as I mentioned, in a number of different languages. And you can find pretty much anything you're looking for on immigration, tax and fiscal services, companies and businesses, and, of course, property there. And here every 2 weeks, we have someone. Sometimes it's Pedro, sometimes it's Ignacio, sometimes they're together, sometimes Antonio gets
here.
Every now and again. Good to speak to you, though.